Welcome to this visual explainer. Today we're diving into a story that literally brightens our daily lives, yet we almost never stop to actually think about it. We're going to explore how a simple, flickering flame transformed into a profound symbol of human civilization, our survival as a species, and ultimately, an incredible scientific revolution.
Okay, I want you to plunge your mind into total darkness. Just for a second, imagine you could just turn off all the lights in the entire world. Try to imagine what it was really like for early humans when the sun went down. The world was plunged into absolute pitch-black darkness, leaving humanity completely unable to read, unable to work, and in many cases, unable to even open their eyes out of the sheer primal fear of what might be lurking out there in the dark.
Today, a simple flick of a switch turns night into day, right? It's essentially like having a tiny sun hanging right there in our living rooms, illuminating everything instantly. But if we rewind 50 millennia, a mere bowl of animal fat was literally our absolute only fragile defense against the encompassing dark. So how on earth did we get from that primitive bowl to a smart chandelier? Let's find out.
All right, Section 1, Origins, the first lights.
So for tens of thousands of years, humans had to rely solely on roaring, stationary fires. And let's be real, you couldn't exactly carry a massive bonfire with you down a dark tunnel. It wasn't until about 15,000 years ago that a huge technological leap occurred. The very first portable stone and clay oil lamps were created, famously discovered in the ancient caves of France. This was a game changer. It allowed humans to actually carry light with them, venturing much deeper into the unknown.
But our ancestors were incredibly resourceful. They were working with whatever they had, hollowed out stone or baked clay bowls. In regions like France, they actually burned thick animal fat. Down in ancient Egypt, they utilized olive oil. And for a wick, they'd use whatever they could find, like dried moss or scraps of early cloth. In these early days of survival, I promise you, the lamp wasn't decorative in the slightest. It was purely a practical, essential tool just to keep the dark at bay. Moving on to Section 2, Civilizations, Symbols of Culture. Now, as we get into antiquity and the Middle Ages, the lamp totally transcends its basic utility. It wasn't just a tool to help you see where you were walking anymore. It actually became this powerful emblem. It evolved into a symbol of culture, a beacon of faith in religious ceremonies, and honestly, a canvas for incredible artistry.
And it is so fascinating to see how different cultures around the globe embraced this shift in their own unique ways. Over in Rome, they were casting bronze and gold lamps with highly complex, intricate designs. In Middle Ages Europe, wax and tallow candles became the lifeblood of nighttime illumination in these sprawling churches and private homes. Meanwhile, in Iran, beautifully crafted oil lamps and glowing glass lanterns illuminated the vibrant night markets, bazaars, and mosques. The lamp had officially become a true piece of art.
Which brings us to Section 3, From Oil to Electricity, the Scientific Revolution.
This is where things really speed up. In a historical blink of an eye, we jump from 1853, when Ignacy Łukasiewicz invents a much brighter kerosene lamp, straight to 1879, with Thomas Edison patenting the incandescent electric bulb. In less than 3 decades, the entire paradigm of how we generate light was completely flipped on its head.
Think about that for a second. The lamp fundamentally shifted from a physical, breathing flame to an electrical phenomenon. This wasn't just some minor upgrade. It was a fundamental shift in physics. This technological pivot completely reshaped human existence. Electricity started flowing into homes, permanently replacing the physical flame with hours and hours of glowing, uninterrupted wires. The night was, for the first time, truly conquered.
And that brings us right up to Section 4, the modern era and the rise of LEDs.
90%. That is a staggering number. That's how much less electricity modern LED lights consume compared to those old incandescent bulbs Edison popularized. When you scale that up across billions of homes and streets worldwide, it marks a massive, world-changing leap forward for energy conservation and reducing the heavy strain on our global power grids. Looking at today's lighting landscape, it really proves we're living in the future. We've got smart lights we control seamlessly straight from our phones. We have bulbs capable of changing into literally millions of different colors just to suit our moods. Now, it's not all perfect, of course. Engineers are still fighting modern challenges like light pollution, which, as you might know, disrupts wildlife and our own sleep cycles, as they continue to work to create even more natural, sustainable light sources. But here's what I find absolutely fascinating. Despite all this incredible, high-tech progress, despite our smartphones and 90% efficient LEDs, We still intentionally light candles and traditional lamps in our homes today. We don't actually need them to see, right? But we still reach for them, simply for the warmth, the nostalgia, and that very specific human feeling and ambiance that only a real dancing flame can bring to a room. It's almost like it's built right into our DNA.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, The Silent Teacher, A History of Light. Looking back at the whole picture, the lamp's step-by-step evolution really is extraordinary. From a primitive oil bowl carved from stone, to the wax candle, to the brightness of kerosene, the absolute magic of electricity, and finally the sheer efficiency of the modern LED. This isn't just a history of some basic household object. It is the exact story of how humanity learned to defeat the darkness, master our environment, and create safety and security for ourselves. This silent teacher of history reminds us of this beautiful truth. The value of a thing is not in its appearance, but in the light it shines on our lives. The lamp has been a provider of peace, a facilitator of nighttime learning, and a brilliant glowing record of our continuous progress as a species. So, the very next time you walk into a room and effortlessly flick a switch, just remember that you are carrying forward 50,000 years of human history and relentless innovation. History really is hidden in the smallest details of our daily lives. Now, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder today. What other simple, everyday objects in your home are quietly hiding thousands of years of human triumph? Think about it. If this visual explainer sparked your curiosity today, join us for the next one as we continue to uncover the hidden stories all around us. Thanks for learning with me.